Ta-da! I wanted to make a video showing everybody here why my cabinet is the best. You know, a couple times I thought, well, this really isn't the greatest cabinet out there. But I have had a change of heart, and I'm looking on YouTube, I'm looking at all the cabinets, and nobody else's cabinet looks like mine. I don't see anybody with like a full screen up here. I don't see anybody, or not many people, with a pretty large angle there. And I don't see anybody using the bottom half for other stuff. And I thought, I think I should tell the YouTube world out there why this really is a pretty well designed cabinet. I've wondered, like, well, maybe that IKEA bookshelf idea wasn't very good, but even that I've realized is great. So I want to show you what I find unique about this cabinet, and how if you are thinking about building one, you should consider a cabinet like this, because not only is it pretty creative, but it's also pretty cheap. When I go online and find cabinets that you can buy, there's one particular site I'm thinking of, and people rave about how good they are, but it's over $1,000. I mean, just buying like the legs and the metal costs like $400 or $500. I think that's cost prohibitive enough that people don't even consider starting to build one. And I want all of you to know you can build one. You can do it on the cheap, and you can make it look pretty cool. So, yes, this is an IKEA bookshelf. This thing right here. Is that strong enough to hold everything? Absolutely not. There's a bunch of 4x4s in there as a kind of an endoskeleton, and the bookshelf is an exoskeleton, and I'll show you that. But as some of you have, well, I'll just let you know, one thing that I have in my front is I have a Nintendo Wii and an Xbox 360, and I've got those because those are the machines I own which really work well with a 1080 plasma TV that you see right up there. I have another video game system, but it's on a 4K screen. This is a 4K screen. It's this 43-inch Acer monitor, and it does a great job, and I'm happy with that. Because it's a bookshelf, I was able to easily screw in a couple of cup holders. Yes, I do have one on the other side. Mine does not have those legs. It is wheels. Wheels that I bought at Harbor Freight. Pretty cheap. Why wheels? Why not? This whole thing is heavy enough that it doesn't move on its own when I don't want to, but I am able, as I did here, to push it away from the wall by myself. I mean, why come up with something where you need two people to lift and carry and strain your back? Why not put it on wheels? Regular pinball machines don't do that, but virtual pinball is not regular pinball. So why not make the most out of it? You might be able to tell here, I brought up this 20-degree angle. It's just easier to see. It doesn't have to be the 6-degree angle, because gravity really isn't affecting computer programs. So why not give it a better tilt where I can see the screen better, and it's less neck strain. It's also less reflection. Oh, this is a perfect time. I don't know if you can see can you read this? It's a famous thing that another company did in response to Pinball 2000. Less reflection, so easier to see what you're looking at. On mine, I came up with just this like a little bezel thing where I just showed the Atari Video Pinball cartridge. So the illusion is still there. For those who think, well, you can't have a wide screen like that. Why not? Why can't I have that? You know why I want the wide screen here? Because what else can I do, right? If I just take my remote and I go to inputs, what do I see? I see, oh yeah, that's how I do the Xbox 360. That's how I do the Wii. That's how I do the TV. I'll admit I don't have cable, but maybe one day I'll wire an antenna over here and I'll just be able to watch, basic regular TV off it. And in the arcade, I did go to Micro Center, my favorite place, and I bought this very awesome system here from Atari. And they make one where they give you a whole bunch of 2600, 5200, 7800 games and coin ops. I decided instead to buy a Raspberry Pi and kind of see what I can do on my own. And I'm not going to make a video on that because, to be honest, I don't know as much about MAME as many other people do. And I'm still trying to figure out how to get the trackball to work. But that fits so nicely right here. So when me and another person stand here, we just look right there and we play. It's perfect. I love it. Oops, I kind of want to escape that. There we go. Oh, looks like I picked the wrong input. Let me go back to Pinball. Old TV that still works. All right. And you know, one thing I haven't shown on any video is the inside. I'm going to try to do that here to give you an idea of what this looks like. Someone actually described this as looking like it has a long skirt. Most pinball machines, except for I think Whoa Nelly, Big Juicy Melons, where they just make it look like a stack of crates, they have this opening on the bottom, and people get these LEDs and flashlights on the bottom. Ooh. I don't see what's so exciting about that. While you're playing a game, who cares what's showing in an area you can't even see? I guess some do. But I feel like I don't want anything on this machine that distracts from the game. I don't have a bunch of LEDs going all the way around the edge, because when I'm playing pinball, that's not going to help. That one little blue light comes from the monitor itself. And I had to carve out a little area here, which was easy to do because of the cheap flimsy bookcase. So I made it fit. This 20-degree angle, the way I got this whole thing to work, and I don't know if you can see it. See the little line there, which isn't quite parallel? I just imagine me taking this IKEA bookshelf, Besta, something like that, which was a perfect width for my 43-inch monitor. I just imagine putting that entire bookshelf together and then cutting it in half, but on an angle. Because if you think about it, the top half is a little bit more to it than the bottom half, and then stacking them on top of each other. And it worked. I love it. I don't have airflow issues. Never had airflow issues with this cabinet. Why? And I don't have any extra fans on the outside. But one reason is I've just got a ton of airflow as I finally go to the back here. You can see my floor there. It's just a giant hole there, but there's a piece of wood or extra. Oh, you know, let me get my flashlight. That might help better. I've got MDF in there. Is that the best? Nope. Is it good enough? Yep. There, I got a piece of MDF right there, which is kind of just sitting on top. You can kind of see a hardwired keyboard and mouse I need sometimes. Here's my desktop computer and its own tower. That's got fans. You can hear it. And it's got a fan to cool off the entire thing. It's got a fan to cool off the CPU. Up here, I've got, I guess, the Wi-Fi, which works fine. And then what you see there, that's what I bought from Philip Ellis. Those are the 10 solenoids and everything that makes it work. In fact, there are the solenoids right there. I said 10, I've only got 8. 8's plenty though. So there's 4 there, and there's 4 there. And it's just attached to the MDF. Up here, that's my monitor. And it just goes up on top. And then, if you think about how ugly it might look on the inside, all right, see all those cords in the back wired to my buttons. I would have twice as many wires or cables or whatnot if I was worried about lights on the buttons. I don't need lights on the buttons. That would look fancy. I don't need them. I wanted a clean design, but something that works. In fact, I don't know if I can get in there properly, but my KL25Z, oh yeah, you see the blinking green light? So that's the processor that I use that, in essence, acts as the keyboard. I mean, all these buttons are kind of assigned certain keys on the keyboard, and that sort of translates them all and connects it to my computer. I believe back in the day, and Michael Roberts wrote about this on his mgr.net or mgrnet.org virtual pinball, his fantastic table, his He really should publish that and sell $30 a pop, and I would buy one. He said that's what people used to do. They actually used to split a keyboard apart and kind of take the wires and move them elsewhere. We don't need to do that anymore. That KL25Z not only does that for us, but it's got accelerometers which act as a nudge. Over there, I've got a potentiometer, and I 3D printed the stuff you see in red and for the plunger, and that just works wonderfully. But think about, yeah, the wires look awful, but what do I really have back here? Got a monitor, I've got some direct output feedback, got an extra processor back there, and then I've got a desktop. Everything is in there. Everything is built in there. If I have problems with that desktop, I unplug the desktop. I unplug this computer and I take it to my mechanic. You see so many people, as I move up with my knees here, so many people showing off the inside of their cabinet where each individual portion of the computer is attached to the walls, and I think, if you get a problem with your computer, how are you going to get that serviced? I guess it's going to be you. It looks so nice and neat, but it also looks like it's something impossible for someone to be able to do on their own. But listen, you who are watching, thinking about building one, that you can do on your own. You can just buy a computer and plug it in. You know, I guess the fancy part is figuring out the KL25Z in the back. Buying one of those. I don't think it's that easy to buy right now because of supply chain issues, but I do believe they're out there. And if you know someone with electronic background, have them do the wiring. If not, watch some YouTube videos. It can be done. If I did it, you can too. I mean, here's my 4x4s. That's ugly, ain't it? But you're seeing it now because I pulled this away from the wall. Anybody else comes, they want to see, this is what they see. They don't see anything ugly. They don't see that at all. It's great airflow. It's everything I would want. I can do multiple things with this cabinet, not just play pinball. It moves. And it was cheap. I mean, how much does 4x4s cost? The wheels, the screws and whatnot, and bolts and brackets that I use to put things together. It certainly costs an awful lot less than what I see out there that people have to buy. Even if you go the Etsy route or you do it yourself, buy their cabinets, those are, to me, cost prohibitive. I didn't want to spend more than $3,000 on everything you see here, and I didn't. I think even with the solenoids that cost me $350, I still think I came in under $3. And right now I've got 1,041 tables. And I do love the solenoids. At first when I put this together, I didn't think I would ever go that route where I want that feedback, that direct output. I love it now. I find myself looking at tables that don't have DOF on my particular cabinet and seeing if someone has updated them. That's something that can be discussed at another time, how to do that, but it's not difficult. So, this is unique. This is one of a kind. Feel free to build your own just like this or make it a little bit better, but don't feel like you have to build a pinball machine that looks just like a pinball machine. Who cares? This is really more of a conversation piece than an actual pinball machine. It stands out. Wow, that looks different. What is it? Well, it's virtual. Let me show you. And look at all the other stuff I can do with this bad boy. For those of you considering building something, consider building something like this. Something that stands out. Something that everybody who comes down to your basement or your garage or wherever you put it has never seen before. And impress the heck out of them. Thanks for watching.